All right, guys. I'm joined here by four-star linebacker JaMichael Garrett. He plays at Gulf Shores High School in the state of Alabama, and he will be making his decision to play at the next level next week. JaMichael, how's it going, my man?
It's going great, man.
Yeah, man. How's your summer been?
It's been busy with camps and visits, and summer ball just started today, so trying to fit everything in my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And I know you're in the class of 2026, and usually guys like you make this decision the summer of your senior year. Why did you decide to make your decision this summer?
I feel like my relationship is good enough with the coaches that's recruiting me, and I just want to commit to a school and stay committed and just rock out for my junior and my senior year, then graduate in December and head to college and start for fight for a starting spot.
Mm-hmm. And your head coach, Mark Hudspeth, of course, is a former college football coach. He was a head coach at North Alabama, and he was also a head coach at UL Lafayette, and he was very successful at both places. How's he helped you throughout this recruitment process, given that he was also on the other side of the table when it came to recruiting?
It's great because he put a lot of things in order to help me be the player I am now. Like we have different stuff like core values, dream teams, and recruiting wise. When like by period, I talk to college coaches, and they already have that relationship with him, so they'll trust him when they tell him about my playmaking ability. It's already on film. So when they know that, plus when they ask about my character, he tells them I have great character, stuff like that. It helps my recruiting even more.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's. I know you released your top five schools. This is what you told me. So your top five schools are Auburn, LSU, USC, Michigan, and Miami. So those are five of the top programs in college football right now. Of course, Michigan is the defending national champion. But first, let's start off with Auburn. Auburn, of course, is in the state of Alabama. They're an in-state school. Um, what has intrigued you the most about Auburn?
Honestly, how new their facilities are. Like in college football, everybody has nice facilities, and I felt like Auburn facilities stood out. Coach Durkin and Coach Aldridge, and their staff, it kind of helped me like put them in my top five because they're so great. They're great coaches, and I was able to camp with them guys and see how they coach. And I love Coach Durkin, and I love how he coach and how he carry himself, and the whole Auburn staff. Honestly, when I was on campus at Auburn, it felt like home, and them guys really made me a priority, and I love how they did that. So that's really why Auburn is a top school for me.
Mm-hmm. And what are the facilities like? Because I know, like you said, they are very brand new. Can you describe what you saw during your multiple visits to Auburn?
They had machines like deep intact machines where you'll like you'll like stretch on the machine that's shaking rapidly and it relaxes your body. Like I remember I was on that machine before our camp actually, and I felt like a whole new player. And the stuff um they have a room where a player standing in the middle and a camera goes around and it like fits your clothes like from socks to your helmet and stuff like that in college football is rare. And like I haven't been to many visits with that or any visits at all with that. So they're building up their players and their coaches and how they gonna be in college football in the next couple of years is kind of exciting.
Mm-hmm. And have you been able to experience a game day at Auburn yet?
Yes, sir. I went to the Iron Bowl, which is, growing up in Alabama, that's one of the best games in state. So I was able to go to the Iron Bowl, the Ole Miss game, and I went to. I'm pretty sure I went to three games. I can't think of the third one, but I went to three games total.
Mm-hmm. What was your reaction to when Alabama scored on that 4th and 41 or whatever it was?
So it's crazy because we getting ready to storm the field and get ready to go into the locker room. Then Jalen Milroe dropped back, throw the ball up. Like when I tell you, he threw the ball up, everybody heart dropped Then he ended up coming down with the catch. Then everybody was like, "Oh man!" But I actually spent the
Yeah.
night in Auburn that night, and I got to experience some things with the players and build some relationships with coaches, and it was a great environment. Honestly, nobody was really down. Everybody was sad about the loss, but everybody was still cheering on their players and making
Mhm.
sure they was good.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that's a heartbreaking way to lose. I mean, the Iron Bowl always has these crazy endings where, like, just because the game looks over, it's not over, and I think that's one of the aspects of the Iron Bowl that I love because you could easily turn off the TV, and then the next thing you know, 5 minutes later, like, wait, what? And I think that's what makes the Iron Bowl one of
Yeah,
the great college football rivalries. But let's all going on to the next school. Let's talk about LSU. LSU, of course, has uh, been very high on your recruiting list as well. You've taken multiple visits there, and believe it or not, it's actually not that far away from where you live. Because I don't think people realize
right.
the Gulf Shores. It's only about 3 hours away from New Orleans, and maybe add on another like 45 minutes to an hour to Baton Rouge. So it's very close to home. Uh, uh,
Mhm.
what's your relationship like with the coaching staff, especially the new defensive coordinator, Blake Baker?
I like Coach Baker. Coach Baker came to my school a couple of times, and we talked for a while. And I love visiting LSU because the culture they have, and LSU is another school with facilities building. They currently have a new facility getting built right now, and I got a chance to experience that with Coach Baker when we walked around. And honestly, the LSU the same way. They have older staff. Coach Bo at the D line coach, and I know they DBs coach and Coach Jordan and Coach Peoples actually offered me at school in the hallway. I was walking the fourth period, and
Mm-hmm.
LSU always been like a dream school to me because one of my favorite NFL players went to a high school I used to go to. They went to LSU. They went to the NFL. So I always like thought of LSU in my head as a school that can get me to the next level. And I see that with Coach Baker and Coach Peoples.
Mm-hmm. And also, who's your favorite player? Because you mentioned that there was a player from Alabama that you really loved that ended up playing at LSU. Can you tell him who he is?
His name Quan Alexander. We
Okay.
grew up in the same hometown, and he made it all the way. So that's my goal too, to make what he's making in the NFL or better. So that's really like why I love LSU and love that player.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I know about Coach Baker is that he has a very aggressive style of defense. He loves the blitz. Is that something that appeals to you?
Yes, because I have Brian Van as my defensive coordinator. He coached for the Falcons, the Jets, Auburn, Georgia. So you name it, Notre Dame. So we do the same thing at will linebacker. I blitz a lot, and I get to show my athleticism. And I at LSU, so I feel like that's why I play LSU at my school. Plus, they culture and everything they have done in the last couple of years in college football.
Mm-hmm. And have you gotten a chance to experience a game day at Death Valley by chance?
Not no, actually not yet. I just got recruited by them this past school year, and I'm
Okay.
ready to experience a night game at Death Valley.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, it's a like just like kind of like Auburn is. I think Auburn and LSU, in my opinion, are two of the best. Like along with Tennessee, I think there are three of the best atmospheres in college football. I mean, it's hard to win at uh, Jordan Hare Stadium, but it's even harder to win at Death Valley. I think that's
Right,
one of the more unique places, especially at night. It's one of the more
right.
unique places, and not only in the SEC, but in college football. So I hope you get to experience it this fall. Um, but let's also move on to another school that's on your list, USC. USC, of course, is in LA. I'm pretty sure that would appeal to anybody your age. The chance
Right.
to play for USC, a great program like USC, and also to be in Southern California. You can't beat that weather. But what's your relationship like with USC? I know they also have a new defensive coordinator in DeAnton Lynn. So what's your relationship like with the coach staff, including Coach Lynn?
I say USC. They're one of the schools that stick out to me because he offered me in my head coach office towards the end of the school year, and when he came, he the D-line coach. I can't think of his name, but he coached at the Rams and that kind
Eric
of
Henderson. Yep.
yes, sir, Coach Henderson. He stood out to me because he's from New Orleans. So when we was
Yep.
talking, he got that New Orleans voice, and you could tell how
Yeah.
like important the game is to him, and we got similar backgrounds and stuff like that. And he told me forget LSU, forget Auburn, forget all these other schools. If I want to go to the NFL, come play for him at USC, and it's like he looked me dead in my eye and it like gave me chills because like when he said that I was like, dang, he's serious about this. And he said he's not gonna come offer a kid all the way from California if he didn't see something in him. So that kind of meant a lot to me when he said that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and have you gotten a chance to visit USC?
No, sir. When I talked to him, he said we not nothing but a flight away. I'm visiting. It's either gonna be the end of this summer or it's gonna be around a game day visit. So I'm interested to get back get on campus in USC because I'm ready for that.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this though, like LA is a lot like the Gulf Shores in the sense where it's right by the ocean. It might be a little bit colder than the Gulf Shores because the Pacific Ocean has colder currents than the Atlantic Ocean, so it's be more of a cold breeze. But the weather is great all year round, and you're basically on the beach too. So I think that
Right.
that it kind of feel like home in a sense. But obviously, LA is a lot bigger than Gulf Shores. Um, but also, let's move on to another school that's right by the beach, Miami. What has been intriguing about Miami?
Miami always been a school that stood out to me because it's just I have a homeboy. His name Cole McConaughey. He played edge. He went to Spanish Fort down by the Gulf Shores area, and he's when I talked to the Miami coach, he was like, Cole he gonna get a lot of play time as a true freshman. He came in and he worked and he worked and he worked, and I feel like if Miami a program that starts players or give good playing time as a true freshman, then that's a program I could consider. With again having the history that they have and being near the beach in Miami, and I feel like Miami is another school that can turn me up and be a player in the NFL too.
Yeah, man, you can't beat the U. When you see that U, you automatically think of those great teams with Michael Irvin and Andre Johnson. I mean the
Right,
list, and there's a list. It's a very
right.
long list of
Yep.
NFL players that have played for the U. But also talk about your relationship with Coach Cristobal. I know he's a hell of a recruiter that's from multiple sources, and of course, he's always been known to really identify the players. What's your relationship like with Coach Cristobal?
He offered me during I was at a spring practice. It was one of our last week of spring practices, and he told me he said he grabbed me. He told me he said he watched my film. He said I'm one of the best 2026 linebackers in the nation right now. He said he liked my play style. He told me to stay in touch, and he told me he gonna get me on campus again. He said it's nothing but a flight away, and having that offer from Miami, it was like wow, like college coaches really love my style of play and see something in me. So I was just blessed to get an offer from the U. You feel me? So
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's move on to your fifth and final school, Michigan. They're also made your top five. Michigan is pretty much the exact opposite of all these schools. Of course, they're in the North,
mhm.
and they're in the Big Ten country. Now USC is joining the Big Ten, but Michigan is the more traditional Big Ten school. What's been the most eye-popping thing about Michigan throughout your this recruitment process for you?
I mean, of course they just won the Natty, so that's another school that I was like, if this school can offer me and see that, and they just won a national championship, then it's just great to like see that a coach sees something in you. And again, the linebacker coach at Michigan, my head coach actually, Mark Husman, he gave him his very first coaching job in college football. So when he came to the school, he told me, I seen your film, you're a hell of a player. And we talked for probably about 25, 30 minutes. And he said, your head coach gave me my first coaching job, right? Then I was like, no, sir, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Then we just talked, and we just clicked automatically. Then after the coach left, my head coach, he sat down and talked to me. He said, Michigan is a top school. You should really consider them in your top 5, no matter what offers you get. And I was like, yes, sir. That's honestly how I feel too. So that's where we stood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and does the weather bother you by chance? I know when you think of Michigan, you think of the snow. I mean, of course, the game with Ohio State sometimes has been playing in the snow. What's your feelings about that as a player? I know you're from the Gulf Shores. That's a beach town. How does it feel to play in the snow?
I mean, honestly, I just moved to Gulf Shores this past season, so I'm getting used to the heat down here still. But I mean, I'm more of a be cold other than hot guy, so like I prefer the snow over going to the beach any day. So it don't really bother me. I mean, it is what it is, you know. It's gonna be times where I have to play in the NFL in a cold environment. So getting in college and having this in high school, I'm already above the game.
Mm-hmm. I know, all the schools. Of course, they all have big time rivalries. Of course, Auburn, Alabama, LSU has multiple. It's Florida and Alabama as well. Miami has their annual rivalry with Florida State, and of course, Michigan has their annual rivalry with Ohio State. What's the intrigue of playing an environment like the game?
Just like schools that you just named, the environment. Like I only been to the Iron Bowl where I had like a crazy environment and crazy fans and just great. But I'm willing to visit more schools coming up my junior year and go to some of those games that you named. And it's just I'm just ready to see how good the fans are and just see the environment that I can potentially play in the next 14 months since I'm graduating in December.
Yeah, and that's like I said, that's another big time rivalry game. I mean, maybe hopefully that's a game you get to experience next year because kind of like Auburn, Alabama, both schools, Ohio State, Michigan, do not like each other. Actually, they might hate each other more than Alabama and
Right.
Auburn. But yeah, what's been the speaking now? We're done with talking about all the schools, but how's it felt to coming up with your announcement day coming up really soon? How you been feeling?
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest, stressed because I got 5 great schools on my plate, and I love all coaching staffs. I love all the schools' culture and the location and everything they have to offer. So just finding that school that, like, to this day, finding that school to like just stick out to me that can be like, this is a brotherhood, this is home, this is where I'm gonna go to the NFL out of. Finding that for the next having that for the next 3 to 4 years and trying to figure that out in such a short span of time. It's been stressful, but that's what I live for. I live for moments like this. So I'm just enjoying the process because not everybody get to go through the recruiting process. So just enjoying it.
Mm. You know, Also with your announcement day coming up, how does it feel to make your announcement in front of your friends and family? I mean, that's
It
got to be
feels
a yeah. Go ahead.
feels great. It feels great just knowing that everything you work for and everything that everybody sees in you. Because I know since sixth grade, people been saying you're gonna be a D1 football player, and I was like, I don't see it in myself yet. So working in the off season, working all these years, it just finally paying off on June 19th, and I got to continue to work for again the next couple months and get to the college that I'm going to, and perform the same way and work just as hard as everybody else. Because I feel like I can compete with anybody, no matter the size or anything. And I'm already gonna be right mentally with having NFL and college coaches on my staff in high school. So I'm just blessed that I'm able to do that at such a young age.
Hmm. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap everything up?
Nothing. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. This is your host, Grant Chachere, here with four-star linebacker JaMichael Garrett of the class of 2026 from Gulf Shores High School in the state of Alabama. He will be announcing his decision of where he wants to play at the next level on June 19th. So make sure to tune in on 24/7 Sports, where you can watch this announcement date for any of the schools, the fans of the schools that we talked about during the show. And also make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Rougarou Sports Media podcast, Rougarou Sports Media YouTube channel, and then also make sure to follow us wherever you get your social media. Thanks, JaMichael, for joining.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Good luck to you. Good luck to you, man.